Okay, so the Ezira project is now live on audio. Thank you, Iron Monkey. So what we'll be discussing next I just need to add in the audio. Hello, can you hear me? Yep, so is all the audio working now? Okay. Yeah, didn't have the audio inputs on the live stream on it. Okay, so getting back to discussion. The Ezira introduction. What is Ezira? So Ezira is a distributed platform that will use graphene blockchain software and the delegated proof-of-stake consensus algorithm to record posts and transactions. Files are linked into IPFS, and those files are hosted on supernodes, which are paid in Ezira coin to host those files. It's a social media platform because users can post any text or files to boards, profiles, and pages. Board posts are sorted according to votes and views, and weighted by stake in Ezira and Ezira Power. Feeds are sorted by votes and views when they are received from a followed or a connected account or a subscribed board. Sorting options are customizable using parameters in the user interface. It's a decentralized exchange because users can trade any user-issued assets and smart coins on the DEX, and they have no trading fees on maker orders. They can receive revenue streams from specified sources directly by linking an inflow of funds to a user-issued asset so that those funds are used to buy back the asset from the decentralized exchange, or they're dropped as a dividend onto it. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace because users will be able to list products for sale on a store page, and they'll be able to purchase these items without any transaction fees, and they will have small fees for mediation. Okay, so going on to the next segment, we have the Ezira project updates. So in the last week or so in Ezira, we've had a few important breakthroughs. We've had our first press release, and that was on Crypto Slate. So Crypto Slate published a press release about Ezira, and it describes how the project will share drop on many existing blockchains, and a lot of the feature set that is in Ezira. And we'll be discussing the press release later on in the Hangout. The Ezira crowdfunding campaign progress. So at this point, over 56,000 Ezira has been distributed and sold through the campaign crowdfunding progress. This corresponds to approximately 25,000 US dollars that has been raised by the project for development, for marketing, for outreach to new members of the team, and for producing the network. So there remains well over 940,000 Ezira to be sold in the rest of the preliminary ICO, and there are 5 months remaining in the crowd sale. Today we'll be announcing the winner of the Telegram competition. So that winner will be receiving 1,000 Ezira, and the 20 Ezira bounty for adding new members to the Ezira Telegram channel remains. So over 200 Telegram members have been added to the Ezira Telegram group at this point, and the growth has been quite phenomenal, I think, over the last few weeks. Going on to the business and application case. So this will be a new documentation published shortly later on this month to establish business and application models for development on Ezira when it is released. Okay, so I'll hand it back over to the community. Do we have any questions, comments about the Ezira project updates and about the description of the network? No feedback, no questions, anything like that? Okay, so, oh, yep. That's correct. I'm quite confident that Ezira will hit the 500,000 goal by then. The progress has been fairly slow initially, but we're building up support in the community. We're building momentum. In the last month or so, we've managed to increase the crowdfunding contributions by an order of magnitude, and I think that trend will continue, especially going forward over the next few weeks when we're going to start rolling out development on the testnet, getting developers locked into the project, establishing media outreach channels, establishing a marketing presence, a promoting presence, and having ongoing community growth to enable everyone to hear about the Ezira project, to read the documentation and things like that, and to make their contribution to the network. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to hop into is the Ezira outline. So the Ezira outline was a recently released document that was designed to explain the Ezira project in under 5 minutes with a very low technical level of language. So this document was made to essentially be the marketing outreach piece for the Ezira network and explain what is a fairly complex project and outline fairly simply so that users can understand it quickly. And we'll go into that now. So what I'll be doing is narrating the Ezira project outline so that everybody on stream and throughout the Ezira community can hear this document read out loud, and they can sort of get a feel for how it flows and how they can outreach to new members of the Ezira community by distributing this document, sharing it, retweeting it, posting it in different social media circles, and by sharing this hangout to people that they think would be interested in joining the project. So I'll narrate the document now. Ezira offers everyone freedom, transparency, and community. It is a new platform to help everybody share information and value freely. Ezira is a distributed social media and business platform. That means it will let everybody post anything they want to, trade any digital property, and create any digital businesses that they can imagine. Ezira is owned and operated by users. People that have powerful computers can earn rewards for running the Ezira network. Everybody that posts to Ezira will earn rewards depending on the amount of votes they earn from their community of viewers. Ezira pays its users rewards using a special type of digital money called Ezira coin. Users can purchase Ezira or commit to holding their Ezira coin for a longer time, and they are able to earn interest on their savings and hold more voting power by converting it to Ezira power. Ezira coin is a new type of valuable currency that is secured by its users on their own computers. Users that hold more value on the Ezira network by earning or purchasing Ezira coin and have more voting influence. A certain amount of Ezira coin is generated every year and divided between everyone that works to help Ezira grow and thrive. Anybody can earn Ezira coin and manage it using their Ezira account. Nobody except the owner of an account can take or spend its Ezira coin without permission. Nobody can create new Ezira coin unless they contribute valuable time and resources to the network. Every owner of Ezira coin can send them to other people for free almost instantly. If you need to send money privately without everyone seeing where it is going, you can send it to another user secretly using Ezira Stealth. Ezira users can choose whether to use an account that is linked to their real-world identity to create a great reputation, to choose a nickname and post without revealing their real-world identity, or to post without using any name at all. Ezira helps everyone by sharing Ezira coin widely and fairly. Everybody that already has some of the most important types of digital money will be given a small amount of Ezira, which represents ownership of the network. Holders of this type of money will earn a small amount of all Ezira coin that are ever created. This is to reward them for owning a piece of the platform. Everybody that uses Ezira each day will earn a small amount of Ezira coin for being part of the community. You can upload posts to Ezira of anything you want. You can post pictures, videos, music, books, software, or any other files, and they will be saved and secured. Your posts can be listed on a board for the subject you want to talk about, and can bring people together to make a digital community. You get to choose who will be able to see them. If you select to post them publicly, it will always be available to everyone forever. If you post it privately, only the people you choose can view them. When you upload something, the people that see it can vote on it if they think it is good. The more people see your posts and think your post is good, the more rewards it will earn. People can even pay you money to unlock a special part of your post that you choose and pay you tips directly if they think it's really good. This lets everybody earn money from their posts without needing to rely on advertisers. Ezira coin can be used to pay for anything you want to buy. You can buy other types of digital money on Ezira's trading system. You can even make your own new digital money and use it to represent anything you want. You can make a new type of digital money named after your company or your project and sell it to raise funds to help you achieve your goals. Your digital money can then be traded on Ezira by everyone and used to allow your supporters to have a say in your decisions. You can automatically deduct a small amount of all the money you receive and use it to pay rewards to your supporters, or even buy back your money from the exchange to repay them a fixed amount. This lets everybody make and trade their own assets without requiring a big company to act as everybody's middleman. You can buy and sell products on Ezira's marketplace. You can make a special account to represent your business and list products that you want to offer customers. If you want some trustworthy people to secure your purchases, you can pay a small fee and have an independent person act as a middleman for the money and make sure the trade is done correctly by both people. This makes sure that the buyer and the seller uphold their end of the bargain, without needing a big company to act as everybody's middleman. The community chooses who the representatives of Ezira are. Everyone that holds voting power gets to choose the people that make the network operate. Anyone can become a part of the leading team of Ezira by providing valuable services to the community and campaigning to be elected. This encourages very skilled people to help Ezira grow and thrive, and rewards them for their important work. This means that anybody from any country can take an active role in the progress and services made available, and that the most passionate, hard-working, and skilled people are always able to rise to the top, regardless of the hiring policies and internal politics of any single company. Ezira is different from the other social media networks you are used to. Big social networks are run on powerful computers owned by a single company. They control everyone's information and can access all the private things you store on their websites. They make large amounts of money by using this information to choose which advertisements to show you. They deliberately make the website in such a way that it is proven to maximize the amount of time you spend there instead of showing you important and valuable content quickly. They usually do not pay you for uploading content, even though you are adding value to their website and earning them money. With Ezira, everybody earns money for contributing to the community, and the files are uploaded and stored securely, so that only you and the people you choose can read them. They are copied, sliced up, and spread out across the world on computers owned by many individuals, so that no one person can access private information without your permission, or stop you from posting content that they disagree with. Your Ezira account can never be banned or suspended from posting, no matter what views and opinions you have. The Ezira platform earns money in a new and fair way. Big social media companies try to keep you watching and browsing for as long as possible and target ads to cater to every piece of information they have about you. With Ezira, your information is completely private, and promoted posts are targeted only to your public profile information. Everyone at Ezira can purchase a membership to disable promoted posts and support the Ezira network directly. You earn access to account benefits, fee discounts, and increased voting influence. Anyone can promote their posts and gain additional exposure for their content or their business. The digital trading platforms have small trading fees, and special content payments have a small fee. The money that Ezira earns is returned directly to the platform's users by buying Ezira coin, lowering its supply and increasing its price. This increases the earnings of every Ezira user. Cutting-edge technology is used to run Ezira. It allows every user of the platform to be able to see all the actions that take place and see the balances of all the people that earn from Ezira. This ensures that the platform is very transparent and everybody can verify the flow of funds. The account used by the elected leaders of the platform to guide Ezira shows all the payments it sends and receives to everybody. Everybody in Ezira is incentivized to work in the long-term best interest of the platform, and those that are chosen by voters to act as representatives are accountable to all the users all the time. And then the outline continues with a link to Ezira.io. It displays the project roadmap, and then it shows all of the Ezira social media network links where you could learn more about the project there. Okay, so we will head back to Discord. So does anybody have any questions about the Ezira outline or anything they think is worth noting at this point? Who is brave enough to be a contributor to the Ezira network project and make an impact on how this thing is going to grow? What was the question, sorry? So smart media tokens on Steam, to my knowledge, what they allow is a user to issue a token that has specifically defined protocols to issue it to specific accounts instead of doing an ICO with all sorts of code and things and smart contracts. You get to choose the account that it goes to in a normal interface, and it can issue the tokens as they're voted, and then use that token as a base of stake weighting to issue it as a reward for people who post in a certain community. So in that aspect, it would be possible to use a user issued asset to act like a smart token, because they'll have distribution options in line with using them as a stake weighting basis. So yes, by the later stages of the project, it will have comparable functionality to smart media tokens. Awesome. Hey, on. Yeah, I agree with you on both points there. So in the Ezira white paper, we definitely outline the release of an Ezira mobile application. So there will be a flagship Ezira mobile application where users can make posts directly from their phones. And another important aspect of a phone application is that you can use Ezira Coin as peer-to-peer digital cash. So you'll be able to have all the mobile QR code sending. You'll be able to use an NFC system to pay merchants that have their version of the wallet operating. So there's a Bitcoin Cash wallet going around by the name of Handcash that uses NFC communication to be able to send funds with a single tap instead of requiring the whole QR code interface. And that's something that I think Ezira is definitely going to be focusing on, especially in the peer-to-peer marketplace. So as a long-term example, a user would be able to go into a shop that has an equivalent Ezira shop and purchase objects directly from the Ezira shop, pay for them with Ezira, and then take them off the shelves. So that's the model that Ezira is going for. So peer-to-peer cash through a mobile application, in addition to the ability to upload images and things like that to microblog with things comparable to tweets, all on a mobile application. So that's definitely part of the Ezira release structure there. Going on to the second part of your question, the Facebook concerns that have been happening of late. Yeah, so they're in a lot of hot water at the moment, Facebook, because they fundamentally have a business model that is no longer satisfactory to the average person. People are now, after all these years, realizing that Facebook is a company that takes your information and literally sells it to advertisers and to whoever else that wants to use it. They have development suites that enable application developers to pull all of your Facebook information with a single click of an authorization button. All of those authorization buttons you've clicked to log in with Facebook, they allow those developers to access large aspects of your profile information. And to my knowledge, there's no way for that permission to be revoked. I'm not sure if that's fully correct. There are difficulties associated with revoking that permission, to my knowledge. So yeah, hitting Facebook with the negative publicity that it's got itself into now is definitely part of the strategy for Ezira. So because Ezira will enable anyone to create a business account, and any business account to create any number of pages to what they'll be is store pages. Every business will create a store page, and they'll be able to list products there for sale in Ezira coin or other currencies. And anyone, whether they're a large business or a single individual user, will be able to create a business account for the products that they're selling, and they'll be able to sell them directly on the blockchain for any currency that they choose to accept on chain. eBay is the closest model that I'm looking for. So it's both individual users and large businesses if there is a market for the product that they're selling. Quite similar to Facebook's market pages, yes. Except instead of having to go to an external platform to do your payment processing or anything with PayPal or requiring a credit card or things like that, Ezira coin will be used to pay for things directly, and that'll be within 3 seconds and have no transaction fees if there is no mediator used. So going on to a question that has come up in the chat from Crypto Hippie, he says, I'm curious to know how you'll be share dropping a graphene token onto token holders of so many non-graphene chains. If I remember correctly, you were going to be share dropping on Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and many others as well. So that is correct. Ezira will be share dropping onto 10 different blockchain cryptocurrencies. And how we'll be doing that is by taking the unspent transaction output set of all of these other cryptocurrencies that don't use graphene. We'll be combining those into a JSON file essentially and using that to initialize the balance of Ezira on the blockchain in the Genesis block so that there's 1 million Ezira divided between a large number of unspent outputs. And what we'll do is we'll enable everybody to download the open source Ezira wallet client and import their existing private keys or wallet import phrases or passphrases or things like that using completely open source software so that it can be verified to be secure and completely client-side, so there'll be no server interaction with private keys. We'll allow users to import their existing wallets and sign transactions to spend Ezira using the signatures of the other blockchains that Ezira has derived its share drop from. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so going forward, does anyone else have any more questions about the Ezira outline or anything else? Yep, so what Ezira will be doing is following a model that has been pioneered quite recently, particularly by yours.org. So at yours.org, there is an application where users can create a post, and one half of it is classified as a free post, and the second half of the post is a premium post that requires a micropayment to unlock. Ezira will be using that model to enable users to create any post they choose, have essentially a paywall to access the second part of the content, which will be premium content, and users can describe the content that they have in the first section, and then hold the encrypted premium content in the second section, whereby the encryption keys are held on the super nodes and distributed when the micropayment is detected. So this is a similar model to one that has been pioneered by another blockchain project called Decent. What they enable is for people to publish files onto BitTorrent or other file sharing protocols in an encrypted way, and then make a payment to the uploader in order to decrypt the content. From that point, the publishers they distribute the private keys, the segments that they have, to the purchaser of the post, and that decryption key can then be used to unlock the content. So we'll be using that model to enable anyone to upload premium content which can be monetized directly from being purchased by users. And because Ezira coin has no transaction fees, it will be a viable model to enable people to purchase things on the order of 1 or 2 cents if they simply click go through, and it might come out of their Ezira coin wallet. And one of the other things that we're going to be doing with Ezira is enabling people to purchase memberships every month, and every monthly membership gives a user an allocation of free premium content from Ezira's premium partners. So any uploader can associate their account with the Ezira Premium Partners program by using a blockchain level opt-in, opt-out flag to allow users to view their content for free and have the payment that they would have spent subtracted from their allocated balance from membership, and in exchange those uploaders earn a share of the membership returns to provide a way for people to earn additional money if they want to monetize their content that way. Yeah, great question. So does anyone have any other questions about the Ezira outline? Okay, so in that case, we'll be moving on to the next topic, which is going to be the Ezira press release narration and discussion. So we'll be heading over to the Ezira press release, which was featured on Crypto Slate. So as you can see on the Ezira live stream, the Ezira press release was published to Crypto Slate now 6 days ago, and I'll take you guys through that post on Crypto Slate, which was the first press release in a mainstream publication made by the Ezira project. So I'll take you guys through it. Ezira is a decentralized autonomous corporation that aims to enable everyone to share information and value freely. It will utilize the delegated proof-of-stake decentralized consensus algorithm used by BitShares and Steem, and will launch its own mainnet blockchain, flagship user applications, and a multi-token circular economic model. When released, the Ezira network will offer users access to a suite of cryptocurrency and social media features. It will provide a platform for posting social media content, blogs, videos, images, audio, applications, and any other files using the IPFS distributed file storage protocol. Content rewards. Users will be rewarded for posting according to the number of votes and views that each post receives over 30 days. Blockchain node operators will be rewarded for hosting files on their integrated IPFS node within the Ezira node client. This will offer ongoing rewards to seeders of content over IPFS and will ensure a decentralized base of file storage for the network. The Ezira blockchain will have multiple native cryptocurrencies. Ezira coin will be the base currency of the platform, issued in each block at a linear rate of 10 million per year. Users will receive earnings for optionally vesting their Ezira coin into Ezira power, which will convey voting weight. And then is featured one of the images that was in the last Ezira image advertising promotion round, and it's the Meet Janice, she's a photographer image. And that tells people why they should use Ezira and describes one of the main use cases of an image uploader. So a photographer is able to earn money by having themselves earn content rewards and then using those rewards to upgrade their equipment and leverage the investment potential from their revenue stream of uploading image content. Payments using Ezira cryptocurrencies will have no transaction fees and will complete within a 3-second block time. Users will have the option of transferring funds using the Ezira Stealth system, which will send Ezira coin to a stealth address and send payments using a ring signature and use ring confidential transactions to conceal the payment amount. These privacy mechanisms have been used by Monero to provide private, untraceable payments. The asset Ezira will have a fixed supply of 10 million and will be used at the beginning of the blockchain to ICO, will be issued rather at the beginning of the blockchain to ICO participants using a snapshot of the BitShares blockchain. Ezira asset holders will earn a dividend of 20% of all issued Ezira coin. All holders of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, BitShares, Steem, Monero, Dash, Litecoin, and Zcash will receive a share drop of Ezira when they import their addresses and their associated private keys into the Ezira wallet, which will be open source and completely client-side for security. The Ezira asset will additionally convey voting weight. Decentralized exchange. The Ezira decentralized exchange will enable all accounts to create assets for trading, and the Ezira marketplace will enable users to buy and sell products and services using their Ezira cryptocurrencies. Users will be able to use peer-to-peer lending to earn interest by lending their funds to other users based on collateral, independent verification processes, and established creditworthiness. Traders will be able to borrow funds for use in margin trading on the decentralized exchange to leverage their positions, and users will be able to access credit for purchases in the marketplace. The decentralized exchange will offer smart coins, which are assets that are autonomously priced by data feeds from block producers. They are designed to remain stable at a fixed price in any fiat currency by requiring a variable amount of Ezira coin collateral to issue them. This collateral is used to back these assets and ensure that they are always redeemable for their face value in Ezira coin. This functionality has been successfully offered by the BitShares blockchain for many years. And then we go into another why should I use Ezira graphic, which explains the decentralized exchange to the use case of a stock trader. And this person has used Ezira's peer-to-peer margin trading to make some significant gains by picking an asset that goes into a price spike, and it describes what's possible with the DEX. Ezira posts. The Ezira social media platform will enable full identity posting with optional verification, pseudonymous posting, and anonymous posting to a variety of boards and to profile pages. Identity service providers will be able to offer verification tokens for checking that a verified profile account has provided satisfactory identity documents. These tokens can then be used as a checking mechanism by developers if they choose. Posts will be sorted using a variety of customizable formulas based on votes, views, shares, comments, post age, and the time since the post was last commented on. Posts will have the option of being private, only allowing certain connected accounts to decrypt the information to read the post. Posts have the option of having some part of the information encrypted, requiring a premium payment to access the content. And then it goes into another why should I use Ezira graphic, which describes the story of a DJ named Isaac, who is able to sell an album on Ezira's premium content for $1 each without requiring a record label or any fiat currency to be involved in that process. Lastly, we go on to the platform revenue model. Platform users will have the ability to purchase monthly memberships in Ezira coin to access account benefits and have the ability to promote their posts on the platform also using Ezira coin. The platform will earn revenue from these features in addition to earning small trading fees on the decentralized exchange, peer-to-peer lending interest, premium content post payments, and fees when mediators are used to escrow market payments. Revenue earned by the network is used to buy and burn Ezira coin from the decentralized exchange, raising its price and reducing its supply. Through this mechanism, all holders of Ezira coin and Ezira earn a share of the profit from the platform. Ezira is based on the fundamental principles of freedom, transparency, and community. Using state-of-the-art proven technology, Ezira will offer users a feature-rich and elegant web, mobile, and desktop interface to the most comprehensive platform for cryptocurrency-empowered mass communication ever envisioned. And then it explains where people can read the Ezira outline that I described before, the white paper, the investment thesis, how they can purchase a stake in Ezira with the crowdfunding campaign, and where they can find Ezira on social media. And now we'll head back to the Discord. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the Ezira press release article on CryptoSlate? Does anyone have any comments? Anything they would like to bring up or discuss? So, has anyone got anything to bring up about the Ezira press release? If not, we'll move right on to the next segment, which is going to be a description for new users of how to contribute to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign. So to contribute to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign is actually quite simple. If you've used BitShares before, it's simply a matter of purchasing a BitShares asset, and that asset is called Ezira. And that asset has 1 million units that will be sold at a price of 50 cents each using the BitUSD asset. So how it's structured is Ezira is being sold for 50 BitUSD on the decentralized exchange in a limit order. This works a lot like an ICO, except it's a lot easier to interact with as long as you are familiar with how to use the DEX. So for those who aren't particularly sure about how to use the DEX, I'm going to describe the process of making a contribution to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign. So I'll take everyone through the crowdfunding instructions, which you can see on the Ezira website. So we'll take a look at the Ezira crowdfunding website, and it says Ezira is actively trading on all BitShares based exchanges. It's quite easy to create a BitShares wallet by clicking the link here, which will send you to OpenLedger, where you can create an account. All the contribution buttons lead to the market trading pairs for Ezira against the 5 main currencies that are being accepted in the crowdfunding campaign. So it's quite easy to create a BitShares account. Users should head to bitshares.openledger.info, and there are a variety of other wallets that users can use as well. Then what people can do is create an account by going to OpenLedger and clicking the blue Create an Account button. From there, they should use the wallet model option to secure their private keys in a file on their computers. Then they can enter their public account name to create a BitShares address, and then they should back up their wallet file on a computer in a safe place so that it's not lost. Key point to note, this has come up quite a couple of times before. If the BitShares page does not load, it's very simple to resolve this problem simply by switching to a new API node. So a new API node is just the server that it's using to host the BitShares exchange that you're interfacing with. What you're running is essentially a light wallet that connects to a full node. All you need to do is change to a new full node if that page doesn't work for you. So then it's quite simple. Whichever cryptocurrency you'd use to deposit onto the BitShares exchange, you can use any of the 5 to make a direct purchase of Ezira from the DEX. So with Bitcoin and Ethereum, all users need to do is click the deposit button in the top left corner of OpenLedger. That can be found here. So for users of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they simply find open.eth or open.bitcoin, and from there they can directly deposit Bitcoin and Ethereum onto the decentralized exchange, and later on make their way to the trading pair to purchase Ezira. Bitcoin Cash can also be used by going to CryptoBridge and doing the same deposit process, and you'll receive bridge.bch instead of open.bitcoin or open.ethereum. So CryptoBridge is the exchange gateway provider for Bitcoin Cash, which is one of the currencies that is supported in the crowdfunding campaign. BitShares can also be used directly by purchasing them from another exchange and withdrawing the BitShares from that exchange into the BitShares address from the account that you created. So for example, Ezira's account name is just that, Ezira. Your account name will be different. The one that you create is your BitShares wallet address. So back at the first step before, if you created an account directly from there, that is your BitShares public address. So Ezira trades directly against Bitcoin, Ethereum, BitShares, Bitcoin Cash, and BitUSD. So BitUSD is the main currency, but there are also trading pairs with liquidity open against those 4 main currencies. So to directly contribute to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign, you simply use whichever currency you deposited onto the exchange to go to the trading pair, as indicated by these 5 buttons here on the Ezira website. You go to those and you can place an order to purchase it there. To find the Ezira asset, all you have to do is go to the exchange page and click Find Markets. And in here you can go to, for example, the US dollar pair, and when you type in Ezira, you'll find it there. Just click to add it with the checkbox, and then you can go to the trading pair of Ezira for the currency of your choice. So there's a price of 50 BitUSD per Ezira for every buyer. There are no early contributor discounts. There are no bonus periods, because those things contribute to a bubble mentality. Those things enable purchases of the cryptocurrency early to simply sell it later on and make a large profit at the expense of later contributors. So Ezira will be having a flat price throughout the entire stage of the initial coin offering at this stage, the preliminary ICO. During the main ICO, the price will be determined using a reverse Dutch auction. So that'll find the market price for the next 2 million Ezira to be allocated. As you can see, there are about 152 days left in the preliminary ICO campaign, and that number is a bit outdated. There are only 940 or so thousand Ezira remaining out of 1 million. So we are almost past the 5% stage through the campaign funding, and momentum is growing. There have been discussions with all sorts of parties that are interested in acquiring large quantities going forward. So when testnet development starts, you can expect to see that number decrease considerably with new capital inflowing into the project. There's purchases all the time. There's all sorts of activity on the DEX. It has significant liquidity in every trading pair that it's on. And you can see the holders of the asset by going to CryptoFresh and BitShares Explorer to show you exactly how many Ezira are held by each BitShares account. So we'll head back to the Discord. And we will head back to the Discord. There we go. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the crowdfunding campaign or the model that Ezira is using for crowdfunding contributions? If there are no questions there, then we'll go on to the next segment, which is going to be the winner of the Telegram competition for Ezira. So Ezira had a Telegram competition over the month of March, and yesterday was the end of the Telegram competition, where it was announced that the winner, which was the person who had invited the most new people to the Ezira Telegram channel, that user will be receiving 1,000 Ezira. And that prize was won by the user Serby. And congratulations to Serby. He will be receiving 1,000 Ezira for adding well over 70 people, 71 people to the Ezira Telegram channel. Well done, Serby. Okay, so the next item that we will go into is discussion about the featured application of decentralized live stream channels. So one of the ideas that I've recently come up with to add into the application and business case for Ezira, a new publication that will be coming out in the next few weeks that describes all of the different business models that could be established on the Ezira network when released. One of the first ones that I thought of that inspired me to start delineating these ideas out into a document is a decentralized live stream channel. So I thought, what if the model of delegated proof of stake could be extended to not only run a blockchain, but it could be extended to enable a network of people, sort of like a witness queue sort of setup, to have temporary and allocated control over a live stream. So depending on the amount of votes that each content creator got, they could be voted into a position on the live stream, and it might be allocated for a period of, say, 4 hours, and the top 6 each day get a segment each day. So you could have a 24-hour content channel with uploaders and creators that are voted into place by the holders of a cryptocurrency, and then the profits from this streaming channel and content rewards and tips and premium content and things like that could be distributed back to the holders of the currency itself. So you could have, in essence, a decentralized media company operating over the blockchain with the on-chain votes for its content creators used to sort the different content creators into a queue, and then it processed through, say, the top 6 or the top 12 if they had 2-hour slots, to allocate them all a live streaming segment on the channel. That's an idea that will be included in the Ezira application and business case. So I just thought I'd bring that one up. That's one of the main new ideas that I've had to exemplify what would be possible when the Ezira network is built and released. So does anyone have any questions or comments about that? Okay, so if there's no further questions, then we'll go on to the next section, which is the Ezira share drop summary. So I'll be talking a little bit about how the Ezira share drop will be working by going over the section in the white paper specifically about the share drop. So this is an often brought up topic, and I'll just address it now for everyone to see on the Ezira white paper. So we'll go over to that. Okay, so here we are. The Ezira share drop is one of the most important aspects of the Ezira project because it makes distinctly clear that Ezira is first and foremost a community-owned and operated project. So instead of having a large sum of our supply locked up exclusively for the control of a single company, as has been the case with Steam and things like that, Ezira will only be held in a small percentage by the founding group, divided between a significant number of individuals when released. And 1 million, so 10% of the cryptocurrency Ezira, will be share dropped to all of the holders of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Steam, BitShares, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Dash, Monero, Litecoin, and Zcash. So these share drops will be able to be redeemed by importing each address that holds cryptocurrency at the time of the snapshot into the Ezira wallet client. The Ezira wallet will enable users to manage all of their cryptocurrencies by importing balances from many major cryptocurrencies and interacting with each blockchain. Each address above dust from 10 major currencies listed will hold a balance of Ezira, which can be transferred over to the user's Ezira balance. So you'll import private keys into the Ezira wallet, and from there you'll be able to create a transaction that spends that allocation from the share drop into your Ezira main account. So these will be the currencies that are accepted in the Ezira ICO series. So that's the main and preliminary ICOs. And there will be 150,000 Ezira allocated to the main 5 cryptocurrencies, which are going to be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Steam, BitShares, and Ethereum. And then there will be 50,000 distributed to the secondary cryptocurrencies of Ethereum Classic, Dash, Monero, Litecoin, and Zcash. So those amounts will be divided between the outstanding supply of those mainnet blockchains. There will be a snapshot taken at a time that will be announced shortly before the release of the main Ezira blockchain, the mainnet. The time of that snapshot will be announced publicly. There'll be a time window, so the snapshot will be taking place on a particular block between a certain time A and B, and at some point in that time there will be a snapshot taken, and that will be determined by a random number between those times for each blockchain. So as we can see here, the distribution of Ezira, the asset, there will be 2.5% allocated to an executive reserve that will be held by the executive board. There will be 2.5% to a community reserve, which will be held by the community account. 10% will be distributed in the preliminary ICO, that's the current funding round. Then an equivalent amount, 10%, will be included for distribution to essentially every cryptocurrency holder in the world with 10%. So that's 1 million Ezira divided between those 10 currencies in specific amounts. 20% will be held by the founding team and divided between the 8 initial founders and used to compensate advisors to the project and act as a base of personal incentive to develop the project for the long term, and that fund base will be vested for a minimum of 2 years and then have a divesting cliff of 2 years beyond the release of the mainnet. So that cannot be sold completely for 4 years after mainnet release. Then there will be the initial coin offering, the main ICO, and that will distribute 20% of the Ezira to purchases of the asset in the main ICO, which will be completed after the release of the Ezira testnet. And then there will be this large allocation here, 35% will be offered in annual coin offerings. So we have opted for a model similar to the EOS project, except instead of having an allocation once per day for a year, we will be having an allocation once per year for a minimum of 10 years to maintain a long-term funding base for the project and enable the executive team to continue to fund the project over the course of the long-term future. So once per year there will be a monthly period called the annual coin offering, and an amount of Ezira will be offered in each period equal to 25% of the remaining supply to be issued plus 100,000, so that mathematically it will take about 10 years. If all the allocations are sold, it will take roughly 10 years for that amount to be distributed, most likely longer. So that's pretty much everything that can be discussed about the Ezira share drop. To summarize, you will import your existing cryptocurrency private keys. You'll use those private keys to sign a transaction on the Ezira blockchain that proves that you have access to that balance, and that'll be completely replay protected. So all you'll do is sign a transaction that verifies that you have access to the private keys without it being a valid transaction on the other chain, because it will be spending Ezira coin and not the other coin from the mainnet chain. So that'll have a different signature structure slightly to make sure that replay attacks are not possible with that. And yeah, so those are the amounts that are going to be distributed: 150,000 to the main 5 and 50,000 to the secondary 5 coins there. So we'll head back to the Discord. And does anyone have any questions about the Ezira share dropping process or the share dropping model at all? In that case, we'll continue on with any further questions and answers and general discussion that anyone in the Discord might have. So the floor is open. Who is willing to take the step of asking a question to help everyone at home understand the Ezira project more and to expand your own understanding of the ideas that have been proposed? So my background is I'm studying a Bachelor of Science with a strong focus in physics and computer science at Monash University, Australia. I got into the space by learning about Bitcoin in about 2013, buying some accordingly, and just doing a lot of personal research over the course of many, many hours and days and weeks into blockchains, cryptocurrency, economic models. I was particularly inspired by the Steem white paper. I am particularly inspired by the BitShares ecosystem. I think it's by far the most promising model for the long-term crypto economic future of society. In the short to medium term, I believe that Bitcoin Cash has the most potential to go mainstream as peer-to-peer digital cash. Right now, I think it's ready for mainstream adoption because of its low transaction fees and its ease of use. But I think BitShares is the long-term model where we should be heading for the future. Further about my background, mostly done research about all the white papers from the projects that have been influential in the ecosystem. Research about IPFS, usage of the IPFS platforms on Steem, and realizing that this model could be extended to allow anyone to upload any file, not just a video or an audio piece, but anything to the IPFS network for sharing on a graphene blockchain. Yeah. Decent. Yeah. So Decent, BitShares, and Steem are the 3 most influential aspects that I believe would serve well combined into one blockchain to allow a single base of marketing push to allow users to use all of those systems combined together. I think separating them out into separate blockchains is not going to be very user friendly, and it's not going to enable the cross promotion synergy between social media users, between decentralized exchange assets, and especially peer-to-peer marketplaces and content storage. I think if those things were combined into one mainnet blockchain that everyone could just promote and use with a nice user interface and a simple onboarding process that's not restricted by having a big open ledger pay for everyone's account registration fees. I think that's the way that we could really bring freedom, transparency, and community to the world. I'll hand the floor back. So at this stage, we're looking to complete the Ezira preliminary crowdfunding, a preliminary coin offering, and testnet development will start fairly soon, as we can get developers committed to the project on a long-term basis. And we'll be establishing a GitHub repository soon to allow anyone to make open source commits to the project and have them pulled into the mainnet project, the main branch. So at this time, there is an ongoing effort to find developers for the project. We are looking into the Graphene community to take a step into this project and to enable us to help build it out to fill the use cases that it offers. So with respect to the timeline, we are on schedule to find these developers. We're in talks with them at this point. There have been small delays with the ones that we've been in talks with recently, but they'll be back onto the project in, I would say, a week or two's time. They've got their own project that's having some issues, and at this point we're focused on getting the word out, getting people to understand what's being offered, because it's fairly comprehensive and there's a lot to digest. But yeah, we're definitely focused on delivering that roadmap on schedule and under budget. So does that answer your question? Awesome. Okay, so in that case, does anyone have any other questions that they would like discussed? Awesome, Stamp Power. Awesome, thank you guys. Yeah, had a little bit of a hiccup at the start. Forgot to add in the audio input capture to all of the scenes instead of just the first few. But I think I got around there in the end. I hope the YouTube live stream came out okay. And I think if no one has any further questions, I think we might wrap it up there. So does anyone have any other questions before we wrap it up and go into the after party? No, in that case, yep. So that concludes the first Ezira Hangout. I hope everyone learned a lot of things about the Ezira project. And if you'd like to learn more about the project, you can follow the Ezira project on Twitter at Ezira Network. You can join the Ezira project on Telegram with the Telegram handle at Ezira Network as well. You can always go to ezira.io to learn more about how the project is going to be handled, about how the development progress is going along. And yeah, the key is to keep up with the ongoing developments, to go into the documentation that's going to be released, and to essentially prepare yourselves for the completion of the coin offerings and for the imminent release of the testnet going forward in a few months' time. So yeah, we'll keep you posted with all the development progress that we have. There will be a public GitHub repository opened shortly, and we will be building off of the Steam blockchain to offer a minimum viable product to show the users of Ezira what's possible when everybody can share information and value freely. Thank you all for coming, and this is Harrison Mclean of the Ezira project signing off. Thank you guys.